Hey guys, so for all of you arm wrestlers that are pulling in the super matches tomorrow, June 4th, Southern Ohio, I know I had mentioned I was going to make a predictions video. I'm not going to be able to have time to make the normal video that I set out to do. I do apologize for that. It's been absolutely crazy with voiceover jobs and balance and everything else in life. But I'm going to make a very quick clip real quick with my analysis and my predictions, and yeah, just take it from there. So starting with number 14, Craig Emmerich, number 20, James Winland in the men's supers in the lefty category. Craig Emmerich, although his stance might be questionable, his sheer power is not. Even if you can somehow get an advantage of his brute hand, putting him away is another huge task in itself. Suffice it to say, it's not only going to take heavy-duty pronation and peeling back his hand, but it's going to require patience in doing so. James Winland has impressively risen in light of his last performance in Kentucky Muscle. Having practiced a couple of times with him, he's a new puller, but with added arsenal, and is clearly hungry to get himself out there. His follow-through and his top roll is that of someone that is pretty seasoned and will keep rising if he continues practicing and competing. With all that said, here's my analysis for that matchup. James will likely have enough low hand pronation to peel back the lower fingers of Craig and be able to hold on to his power for a little bit. Like I said, pinning him from a position to his disadvantage is still a task on its own. So it's going to be fun to see if I'm proven wrong, but my official prediction for that match is Craig will pull it off 3-0 with a tough first round, but getting easier as the matches go on. So I'm going to move on to the next matchup. A ladies matchup, number 3, Lexi Koenig, number 4, Holly Howard in the 154 women's. While she was still a minor, Lexi had defeated boys, adult women, bigger and more experienced women pullers in the sport. Her speed, technique, and tenacity is something that even the best of pullers have to admire. So, you think you can out-top roll her? Peh, good luck. Her dad, Josh, is the grip king in the state, maybe the nation, actually. Now, as far as Holly Howard goes, I can't remember the last Ohio or Kentucky tournament where Holly did not make an appearance. She is highly competitive and a fierce one at that. She is also not afraid to travel very far to prove her experience and power, test her speed, hitting power against more regionally known female pullers. I mean, anyone that takes on Holly will have their hands full. My analysis for that is, Holly is very conditioned right now for the sport and made quite an impression by winning the 143-pound class in Kentucky Muscle, and I think she is Supermatch ready, whereas Lexi has not pulled since Kentucky State in August of 2021. I think that's the right date, but do not count her out, as she is a natural athlete herself. I see Holly taking match 1. Given Lexi will be shaking off a little bit of rust, Holly does have a mean hit, but I do feel that Lexi's hand itself will have a sufficient amount of stamina to be able to hold on, because I have seen Holly's super matches. Although she wins, she tends to lose her hand and her wrist, which is something I never see happen from Lexi. So with all that said, I think Lexi is going to retain her spot 3-1 with that win. So next one, we see number 2, Robby Ingold, number 3, David Lee in a 154 matchup. Robby is a puller that trains with Kevin Palco and the Cleveland Crew, which those are some really bad dudes. He has a very large hand for the 154 class, which seemingly has served him well, being the runner-up spot in the state. He has a couple of wins in the IFA Worlds, so he's got a real solid tournament caliber experience. David Lee, quite an underdog story. He is literally the definition of climbing up in the rankings. He sees who's in front of him, and then he goes after them. Where he lacks in speed and arsenal, he vastly makes up for in holding power. And if he gets you onto his side, might as well cue the curtains, because you are not coming back from that. Starting off at number 6, I believe, in the initial ranking release, he has defeated Randall Bladen, Adam Nail, Terrence Allen, now has eyes now has eyes on Robby Ingold. So this is a tough analysis, honestly. Even though I know Robby is the favorite in this because of his top roll ability and speed, I have never seen him in a Supermatch format, which is a different ball game than a normal tournament bracket system. David has pulled in several of those this past year already, so he is very conditioned and ready to go. I will still say it would be very surprising if it comes down to a sweep. I think Robby takes match 1 based off his speed alone. David is table smart and will likely adjust enough and get Robby in the straps, which tends to favor more of the stronger puller, which I believe David is. David may get a win on the second match, but Robby, I think, has had too much support from practicing with possibly one of the best group of pullers in the entire state. I think he will have too much of a wrist curl for David to be able to come back, but Robby will have to beat him fairly fast. However, I have seen him be able to top roll and maintain the likes of Palco himself. I could very well be wrong, but I will predict that Robby pulls this off 3-1. 2 more matches left to go over. We got number 3, TJ Slayton, and number 5, Michael Crawford. Battle of the big boys. TJ needs no introduction. He has won many titles already in the past few years of his career. Kentucky Muscle, he severely impressed me with his performance, defeating Paul Hughes, Cameron Smith with a commanding force, only taken second to Austin Jaggers. I would not be surprised by the end of the year that TJ ends up nationally ranked, providing that he continues competing. Either TJ wins his matches easily, or he gives a very tough match against one of the best there is out there. As far as Michael Crawford goes, I do not have too much to go off on my research of him. However, he effortlessly has blown through all of his matches this year already. He's been to maybe two, maybe 3 events. Won a very recent Michigan tournament as well as the overalls, including defeating Joel Hudick. Sure, they may not be the same weight, but anybody that can handle him in that manner deserves to be both revered and feared in the Supers. So Michael and TJ, furthermore, go way back in the Border Wars days, taking second to him, but I know Michael is pretty hungry now. Aiming to make a difference in a Supermatch setting. Michael has had wins on DJ Fenton several years ago as well, so this is going to be pretty exciting, very tough to predict. I think Michael has the means of being able to hook TJ where he wants him for 1 match, possibly 2, but I think TJ has too much arsenal, too much moves at this time, to not pull himself out of the hook. I don't think he's going to pronate his way out of Crawford, but I think he's going to have too much wrist curl for Michael. I think TJ is going to hold on to him the next 3 matches. I think it's going to take 5 matches, but TJ will take this, I think, in a very hard fought battle, 3-2. Last but not least, a lefty bout between master and student, so to speak. Number 3, Cody Smith in Ohio versus North American, number 20, Tim Lewis. This may only have 1 Ohio puller, but if Cody does win, that means he will be officially ranked in the top 20 in North America. Cody has obliterated many of the top lefties in the state. I had the privilege of pulling him in both tournament and Supermatch format, and each time he has gotten so considerably stronger and smarter on the table. In Michigan State, he defeated Joel Hudick, and given top Michigan puller Dan Vertalka a run for his money as well. That's definitely someone that Cody is someone that everyone needs to step on the gas in their routine, because he's going to come after you before you know it in a very, very expedient fashion. Tim Lewis, who needs no introduction, he is known as the Road Warrior, as he travels everywhere to pull with any rising competitor. A puller in what he may lack in hand certainly makes up for in brute strength and tenacity and endurance. Even if anyone gets a win on Tim, very, very, very few have been able to do it 3 out of 5 times. Benching nearly 500 pounds, if you do not get Tim past his shoulder and chest, you better pull all the stops to maintain your position, because he is a long haul type of puller. He will wear and tear you. He is not top 20 in North America for nothing, guys. He has very notable wins on Roger Cunningham, Joe Melendez, Joel Hudick as well. So my final analysis on my final match. They both agreed to go in the strap supposedly for all of their matches, which I have seen work in both their favors. Cody has beaten top guys in the strap, but those guys are more so like high hookers or top rollers. Tim has also beaten many guys in the straps as well, even if they have taken his hand. So I can see Cody taking match 1, possibly match 2. But then I foresee Cody's shoulder and wrist start to get winded and then rely on sole pronation, which is exactly where Tim wants to go. This seems like it's going to come down to an endurance, brutal arm versus arm type of matchup, which I think Tim has the edge at this time. I predict 3-2 Tim Lewis. So those are my predictions for tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, even though I didn't give a very intricate type of video like I'm used to giving. Good luck to all of you pullers. These are very exciting matchups tomorrow in Southern Ohio. Most importantly, please be safe. This is your arm wrestling underdog, and let's continue to beat the odds.